Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So the reason why you guys are looking at this beautiful display of olive oil and Palmolive and all that good stuff is because today I'm going to be doing a video all about brush cleaning and what I use, how I do it, the options that you have, and all that good stuff. I know this is not the best put together kind of shot, but I just want to make this video very simple, very straightforward. So let's get into it. So obviously you guys know what it means to clean your brushes. Basically we're gonna take dirty brushes, and make them clean, sanitize them, and all that good stuff. Now there are so many ways to do this depending on what your preferences are, how you like to have your brushes clean and all that stuff, but this is the way I do it. I just find that it works the best for me. It keeps my brushes very clean, and yeah, I just like doing it this way. And also, if you're kind of wondering how often you need to wash your brushes, I would probably say every 3 weeks or so, every 2 weeks or so. I know that it's not ideal to say every week you have to deep clean your brushes, but I will show you ways to quickly disinfect your brushes if you don't have time to deep clean them. So before getting into deep cleaning, I want to show you guys my quick ways of disinfecting brushes. So the first thing I have right here is my alcohol. So this is 91% isopropyl, I'm not sure, alcohol. And why you want to get one that's 91%, or I believe it's anything above 70%, is because this is gonna dry extremely fast, which is what you want when you're spot cleaning your brushes. You don't want to wait for it to dry for like 3 hours. So 91%, it's gonna dry super quickly. Now, the one thing I will say about spot cleaning your brushes with this alcohol is it will dry out your brushes, so don't make it a habit. Kind of have this on the back burner. If you're kind of desperate, you need something to quickly spot clean a brush, this is a definite good contender, and it costs like literally 80 cents and you get quite a bit in there. So I do use it. You guys can see I have used it a lot, and I actually even use this for other purposes like what you usually use like alcohol for. So it's really good. I got mine from CVS, and if you're not from America, I don't know where CVS is, but basically it's a drugstore, so you can get this from any drugstore next to you. Another thing I use to clean my brushes is this daily makeup brush cleaner. This is from Sephora. Now the one thing you want to know about something like this is it's going to be much more costly than the isopropyl alcohol. The daily makeup brush cleaner, once again from Sephora, runs at about $9 I want to say, or $4 to $10 depending on the size you get. So you're definitely not getting enough bang for your buck. It's not the best deal, but the one thing that is the difference between these two is that something that is aimed towards brush cleaning is going to make your brush softer than something like 91% alcohol, which will dry your brushes out. I just want to show you guys the way that both of these work. They kind of work exactly the same, but once again, like the softness is going to be a little different. So I'm just going to go ahead and choose out of my arsenal of dirty brushes. I will use this Morphe brushes one. So it's a dual fiber, so you could definitely see how dirty it is if I could get this to focus. So it is super dirty. So I'm gonna go ahead and try it out with the alcohol. So what I do is I just spill some of it. Obviously, you can put this in a spray can, or not a spray can, like a spray bottle. So I put some of it in the cap. I hope you guys can see that. And then I just dip my brush in there quickly, and I just go ahead and kind of clean my brush. And what this is gonna do is just gonna take off all that dirt and definitely gonna sanitize it. We're talking about 91% alcohol here, so there is gonna be no germs left on this little fellow. So you can see my brush is clean and good as new. So definitely super clean, and it's already dry. So that's probably the best thing about this alcohol. It just takes everything off, makes your brush super clean. You can see the dirt that came off of that brush. Now I want to do the same thing with another dual fiber brush. This is a Real Techniques brush, not that it matters, but I'm going to use the Sephora cleaner, and with this you just spray it, and then you go ahead and do the exact same thing. And this smells a little bit more pleasant. It doesn't smell like straight up cheap vodka or anything like that. It smells much more pleasant. But the thing is that the brush cleaner doesn't get off all the product as quickly as the alcohol does. So you end up using a little bit more product, and the problem is you're paying more. So in the long run, I think I'm gonna stick to my alcohol, even though I really do love the Sephora brush cleaner. That's like 2 times I'm like washing it and it's still not getting rid of all of the product. So that's kind of my final verdict on what I like to use to spot clean, and it's definitely my CVS alcohol. Now to talk about deep cleaning brushes. So I'm sure you guys have heard of this method a billion times. I know I heard this method on YouTube, and this is what made me start using this method, but I just kind of want to talk about why we use these things to clean our brushes. Now, when you look at Palmolive or any dish soap, you think, oh, it's a good cleaner, it cleans my dishes. Why would I want to use that on my face? The stuff that touches my face, my eyes. Now, the reason why I love Palmolive or any dish soap, you guys, it doesn't have to be Palmolive. This is just what my mom buys, so this is what I use. The great thing about dish soap is it's tough on grease, so it's made to combat grease on dishes. So if you have like a pan that you have like oil in, it just cuts that oil right out, and that's kind of the point of cleaning your brushes. You want to cut that oil right out of your brushes, especially if you're using foundation brushes like this one, for example, how it's all dense and all the foundation really goes inside of the bristles. So what's gonna happen with that is if you clean them without using something that's made for grease, like to cut the grease out, I find that I still see some of the foundation, or my brush doesn't feel as soft as it could. So that's why I love using dish soap. It's gonna cut the grease out, it's gonna take off all of the makeup, and it's just good, and it doesn't make me break out or anything like that. Obviously, everyone's skin is different, so what I would recommend is trying out like one of your brushes that you wash with the dish soap and seeing if that works for you. I know that Dawn has a lot of sensitive formulas that are good for your hands and stuff, so maybe if your skin is a little bit more sensitive, I would try the Dawn. So that's my Palmolive, and then I use olive oil. So I'm gonna be totally honest with you guys, it's not every day, not every day, it's not every time that I use olive oil. I don't use it very often. I'll do it like once in a while if I remember to. Usually I go straight in with some Palmolive, and my brushes are really soft. So the reason why we're gonna use olive oil is because it's basically gonna soften your brushes. And I know what you guys are thinking, well, isn't that kind of counterproductive? You're cleaning off all the grease, you're adding more. Olive oil is not grease, it's oil. So it's a pure form of an oil that is extremely good for our skin and extremely good for just softening and adding just goodness. So the reason why olive oil is amazing for use on brushes is because it doesn't really weigh down the bristles of the brushes. So the thing is that I've tried using like coconut oil and stuff, and I find that the coconut oil will weigh down the bristles and it won't be as fluffy as I would want my brushes to be. What olive oil does is it really penetrates the bristles, but it doesn't leave it like super heavy, which I'm sure a lot of you guys are worried about. Well, it's gonna make it super greasy, it's gonna make me break out. It really doesn't. And if you're kind of scared and you're like, hey, you know what, I don't want to put olive oil on my face, you totally don't have to. So just skip the olive oil and just do the Palmolive, it'll work just fine. So what I'm gonna do is add a lot of Palmolive. So I use quite a bit of this, and it's good because this stuff is super cheap. You don't have to go spend so much money on really expensive soaps and stuff that are made for your brushes. So I use that, and then you can see how much I have in there. It's quite a bit. And literally for that entire mixture, I'm gonna go ahead and add like literally, let me see, a teaspoon full of olive oil, so you guys can see. I hope you guys can see. So not a lot at all. And then I just use like my brush, one of my brushes. I'm just gonna go ahead and redo this one, and I just mix that all together. And that's pretty much it. That's my mixture that I'm gonna use. This should be enough for all of my very dirty brushes. So I'm gonna show you guys what I do in the sink. So I used to put it on my hand like this, and I still sometimes do, but my favorite method is just going on the bottom of the sink and kind of like using the sink walls to help me wash my brushes. So what I do is I just dip my brush a little bit inside of the Palmolive, and I turn on the water, and then I just go underneath the water, and I just start like playing with my brush. I put it on my hand. I know that there are special gloves made for this, and I was thinking of investing in one because it does seem like a good idea, but this works for me, so this is what I do. I don't know, it's up to you guys. For my foundation brushes, I always double wash because these are my brushes that get the most use. I put a lot of very, very full coverage foundation on these brushes, so I just like to give them the most love. And I kind of act like I'm washing my own hair. I help the brush kind of get in there, and yeah. And I know it sucks because I keep the water running for so long, but it's just, I don't do it all the time, so it's fine. And I use lukewarm water, not too cold, not too hot. I don't want to use very hot water because I feel like it loosens the glue on my bristles, so I just don't do that. So there you go, there's your very clean brush. I just kind of help the brush get back into shape, kind of squeeze the excess water out, and you have a super clean brush. And I just lay out my paper towel and I just put them out to dry. So here are most of my brushes all cleaned up and ready to go. What I do is I just lay them out like this on a paper towel, and I leave them in a very open space that has a lot of circulation of air and fresh air, and it's not like too cold, too hot. I don't want any bacteria growing on the wet bristles of my brushes, so I just leave them very laid out like this, making sure that none of them are really touching. They all have room to breathe and dry. And yeah, the one thing I will say though is I am looking at investing in one of those brush trees, because putting your brushes to the side like this, or even standing them up to dry, it will loosen the glue inside of this barrel, and it kind of ruins your brushes. I have one here that I wanted to show you guys. Okay, this one right here. The barrel is kind of getting loose, so that's kind of a result of washing them and laying them on their side like this, but it's fine. I think one of those brush trees are like $20, and it will really prolong the life of your brushes, so I think I am gonna get one of those. But that's basically it. That's all I do. The brush is dry and they're ready to go, and it feels so good doing your makeup with fresh brushes. Okay guys, so that's the end of my video. I'm so sorry that I did not show my face in this video. I don't want to show you guys my face because you guys will get scared. I am just not ready. Let's just say I'm not ready to be in front of the camera. I did want to film this today because I had to clean my brushes, and I wanted you guys to see kind of my methods, why I use what I use, and all that stuff. If you guys have any tips and tricks or what you use, leave them down below. And of course, everything that you guys need to know, including the products and stuff, will be down below in the info box. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please comment, like this video, subscribe, and I will see you in my next one. Pretend that I'm doing a kissy face. Mwah.